Live from the Export Beer Garden studio and brought to you as always by Export Ultra, the beer for here. This is the Agenda podcast for Friday the 4th of October.
The Agenda podcast, the home of sporting nonsense and claptrap. Brought to you by Export Ultra.
And it's been an emotional Friday morning, Lane.
It has.
The last ever show of the Matt and Jerry show.
Yeah, because those who don't know, we live in very close quarters to Radio Hauraki. I'm probably about 10 metres away from their studio.
Yes.
And, you know, the Alternative Commentary Collective is, very heavily linked towards Hauraki. The Matt and Jerry show, their very first show was the day after the very first ACC broadcast.
Is that right?
Yeah, in Hawke's Bay. It was New Zealand versus India in Hawke's Bay in 2014. And Matt and Jerry, they'd just done the deal the week before. They flew out early from Napier and left myself, Jason Hoyt, and Lee Hart to do a whole innings on our own for the very first game. We had no fucking idea what we were doing. This is our first broadcast.
Yeah.
So we were exhausted by the end of it. But then the next morning, that was the very first Matt and Jerry show.
Yeah, wow.
So we've kind of grown up together, the ACC and the Matt and Jerry show.
I can't remember a time when Matt and Jerry weren't on Radio Hauraki because, of course, they don't have a frequency in South Canterbury.
Oh.
So it wasn't until I left South Canterbury that I'd even heard Radio Hauraki, to the point where when I started working there, my mum thought I worked for an iwi station. And she was very proud of me until she one day drove up to Christchurch and heard what was going on that radio station. She was just like, oh.
Not so proud.
Oh, is that what you're doing up there? Yeah, okay. It's been a long time. Like I said, I can't remember a time when they weren't there. And actually, my first week at Hauraki, it must have been like 2017, I think. My first week, the radio awards were on.
Oh, yeah. Old school radio awards, too.
Old school radio awards, I never knew, I didn't know what it was all about, so I put my second-hand suit on, dressed like a bouncer or a bus driver, went down to the awards, chewed Marcus Lush's ear off for about an hour.
How'd that go?
Howling demons the next morning. And then throughout that night, was the first time I'd heard, and I think the first time he'd done it, that Heath was doing the "You drink what I give you, boy" thing.
You drink what I give you, boy.
I think that was the night that was born.
Yeah.
Don't do that, it's triggering me. And the next morning I came in and he was still doing it. He hadn't landed the plane. I'd been home, slapped the mailbox and come back into work again. And so we all went to the pub just up the road there. And he'd found a walking stick somewhere and we were sitting there drinking beers from about 10 o'clock in the morning. And he kept tapping my drink whenever I'd finish it.
Well, no, you got ordered back to work.
About 3 or 4 times throughout the day. So my boss, I'd just been hired to work in promos, and my boss who doesn't work at Hauraki anymore, who wasn't you, he kept coming back to the pub to be like, hey, Manaia, are you going to come back because you've got that thing that you needed to finish? And I was like, yeah, I'll be back in a sec. And then Heath would be like, you drink what I give you, boy.
You tap your glass.
Tapping my glass with his walking stick. Cut to about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm piggybacking Heath back from the pub to the work drinks. We get into some sort of weird shouting match, blacked out drunk at the bar. This is my first Friday at Radio Hauraki.
Oh.
On Monday morning, I was dragged into a meeting with my boss and my boss's boss and reminded that I was still on my 90-day trial, that is a violation of the drug and alcohol policy at NZB to be intoxicated during work hours.
That's bullshit.
And, got dragged into a windowless room and told how pissed off they were.
But I think there was more jealousy than pissed off, to be honest. Because
100%.
I think we did quite well at that Radio Awards, I believe.
I couldn't tell you.
But his drink what I give you, boy, did have kind of undertones of slavery.
Yes.
Yeah, which was an issue.
It was problematic.
Yeah.
It happened twice. So I think the next time it had happened was the TV awards, maybe.
Oh yeah.
And he again didn't land the plane. I think this was when he slept in the studio.
That was the one time that I have actually had to go in and take him off air.
Yeah.
At about 8 a.m. I went in and went, okay, that's enough.
Well,
and he goes, what do you mean? I said, that's enough. That's enough. And I kicked him off air. And then I said, just go out and grab some breakfast or something, but you're done. And then there was cricket commentary on that day, starting at 11 a.m. a one-dayer. And he was scheduled to be on that. And I texted him and said, he just went from there to the pub.
Yeah.
And because he hadn't landed the plane, they'd won the Best New Zealand's Kids show for Cardboard City.
Yeah.
And I said, don't worry about the cricket, mate. Just, you can stay at the pub. And I got the most heated response back, full of expletives, full of how much, I won't go into the details, and I just wrote back, thanks, mate. And more expletives. And then I knew that the next day he was going to wake up, and I sent him a message saying, "Hey mate, how are you?" And he was going to have to see the transcription of the last, and he wrote the biggest mea culpa back to me. He was so ashamed of what even that breakfast show and everything, and he was just like, and one of these demons, I think that might have instigated him taking a spell on the bench for a few months.
It was like a year or two.
Yeah,
almost,
it was. Yeah. But, God bless him, he bounced back. He got back on it. But this morning was being quite emotional.
Yeah.
Jerry broke down. It's 11 years. Their children have grown up together. His children were both quite young now. They're teenagers.
Yeah.
So they've been through quite a lot. But the show will go on. Jeremy will be on air on Monday.
Yep.
And good news for the Agenda listeners. Me and you will be filling in. Not good news for anyone else. But I'm filling in a few days. You're filling in a few days.
Yeah.
We're just going to get Jeremy through it to the end of the year and then see where it takes us.
Yeah, they're really scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Well, I think it's because we're just the closest.
Yeah.
You know, it's like at the end of the night when people are looking to hook up and they look around the room and it's like, oh, you'll do.
They'll flick the lights on and it's man laying in the corner of the bar. And they're like, you know what?
Fuck.
3 hours ago, I wouldn't have.
That's like them 3 years ago. Wouldn't touch those guys.
Wouldn't have. But, now there's nothing else going. We need someone.
So tune in.
Yeah.
Radio Hauraki, Monday morning. Manaia's on later on in the week. I'll do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Manaia's going to do Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
And then I think we're going to tag team Jerry from then on, which is the only way to tackle Jerry, actually, because he's a lot of human.
There's a lot. There's a lot of Jerry. There's
Yeah.
a lot to deal with. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But sad and exciting day. They'll be massively on the hose, I reckon, for the rest of the day.
Oh, yeah. But poor Jerry has to do 7 sharp. So
brutal.
he couldn't find someone to step in. I said, I'll do it. I'd do it. Yeah. He's like, I don't know how big I'll take you.
What's Daniel Faitaua up to? Surely.
Yeah, well, he's asked everyone.
Yeah.
And everyone's banging, no, fuck off, it's Friday.
Well, then he should have said to whoever runs that, just said, look, okay, I'll do it. I'm still going to the pub.
I don't know how well that translates okay with the ACC and with Hauraki. I'm not so sure about the national broadcast.
I know, but they want him there. So he should just be like, look, I've asked for the day off. You've declined it. I will come in, but I'm not adjusting my leave plans.
I'm not sure it's the right environment at the moment to start swinging your dick around like that. It's a time when you keep your dick below the parapet.
But he's obviously not replaceable because they can't find anyone. So,
no, just to fill on a Friday they're struggling.
Yeah, right.
But I'm sure that the vultures will be circling if it's a full-time gig.
Yeah, true, because if he really got cancelled, they'll be like, well, if he's getting cancelled, we could just bring Paul Henry back, So what's the point?
That's true. Mike Minogue told a great story on breakfast this morning as well when he was on the Matt and Jerry show about how he got involved in the ACC.
Yeah.
And he said it was potentially the most regrettable night of his life. He was so wasted in Wellington, and he bumped into all of us, and he ended up drinking at the bar with Joe Jury and I.
Yeah.
And he said he woke up in the morning with so many demons, he stopped drinking for 100 days. And then he got a call the next day saying, you want to go on the ACC? You're very funny. He's so embarrassed about it. Yet it got him the job.
Head noise. Absolutely head noise.
He did threaten to have sex with Joe Jury that night, but that's a different story.
Was that a threat or a proposition? That'll be how the rest of this day plays out. We've still got the sports book later on this morning. Carl will be on the line, so we'll give you a few tips to take with you into your weekend. But just before we take a break, this is going to be a full Yours Please special. We've got about 10 of them to get through. All of the burning unanswered questions from our trip around Europe. But before we get to those, we are selling our ute in what I would describe as one of the greatest own goals, not just by the ACC, but particularly by me. So we've teamed up with Auto Trader, who want you to tell New Zealand about your car. There's been a long history of buying and selling cars here in New Zealand. We love the second-hand car market in New Zealand's bigger, I reckon, per capita than anywhere.
It's a national pastime.
It is a national pastime, and we're shit at it. And that's why Auto Trader want to try and give you a few tips as to how to sell your car. And so they've asked us to try and help you guys with your tips. We've got a car, and we said, look, we'll dress our car up as if we're going to sell it. And then we thought, well, let's just sell the thing. If we're going to do it as if we're going to sell it, let's just sell it. And that's a massive own goal on my behalf because I drive that to work every day. Yeah,
and also we've done it up now. And it looks mint.
It looks sick. So I don't know if you've seen it before. In fact, I don't want to reveal too much, I don't think.
It's a 1998 Ford Falcon Ute. And it was
straight six.
Yeah, it was before it's the slanty-eyed one. It's the one before they went to the new model. So remember they had the grill at the front used to be the Ford Falcon Ute has to have the straight grille at the front with the square lights or the rectangle lights. And then they tried to go modern, and they did it for like 2 years, and it was a terrible look with the skinny little headlights.
Yeah.
That's that one, the 98 model.
Yeah.
And we've done it up.
It's humming at the moment, too.
And look,
but it is an older car.
And we are going to sell it, but we are giving all the proceeds that goes to Movember NZ, and it's going to happen later in November, obviously.
Yes.
But yeah, it is an own goal because you and Joe Jury love driving that, don't you?
It's the best. It's the best thing. Just humming along in that motorway. It idles at about 80 k's an hour.
It guzzles a lot of gas.
Yes, it does. And the weirdest part about the way it used to be wrapped was it had the ACC all down the side of it. Storm Purvis's face was on the petrol cap.
So you shove
the
hose in his mouth.
So whenever you go to fuel up, you just have to pull Storm Purvis's face off and just slam the old nozzle straight down her throat and just pump the thing full of gas. So apologies to Storm Purvis.
Well, that's gone now. We got rid of that.
But it also, if you, because there's a bit of a dicky little petrol cap there. If you missed it, it would just, you put the cap back on, there's just Storm Purvis with just petrol pouring out of her mouth.
Yeah, we did donuts, didn't we? At Mount Smart in it for one of the videos. And it was just absolutely pissing out the hole.
Yes, yeah. There's slow-mo footage of that'll go out in the next few weeks. But anyway, we're going to give you a few tips as to how to sell your car. Obviously, one of them is to make sure that it's looking good, which we have done.
Yep.
I don't want to spoil too much of it, but there'll be a video of... There's no longer Storm Purvis dribbling petrol out of her mouth. So it's been completely overhauled. And that's probably tip number one. Make sure your car looks as presentable as possible. Yeah. There's a few practical tips around...
the basics.
Yeah, there's the basics. There's a few practical tips around like camera angle and height of the photos that you take. Because, God, there's some dog shit photos.
Yeah, you got to take them at wing mirror height. Wing mirror height is the key in taking photos as well. And sunset, sunrise is the best lighting. If you haven't got any lighting like we have in the studio here, that's the best natural lighting to get. Not full. You don't want full blazing midday sun.
Nah,
that's terrible for photos.
Yeah. So go and check all those videos out on our socials and on our website, and tell New Zealand about your car with Auto Trader. Let's take a quick break and come back with an extended Yours Please.
Yours Please. Brought to you by Leader, home of the lasagna topper.
So while we were on the road, Lane, we did a few podcasts. They've been some of the more well-received podcasts. Well, more well-listened to podcasts.
Yeah, because Wells is on it. Or is it just great content?
I've had a lot of feedback, a lot of people asking me, and actually it's been quite handy because a lot of my family left me alone while I was overseas because instead of ringing me, they could now just listen to a podcast and know what I was up to.
Well, disappointingly, my mother now listens to the podcast because she tuned in because she just wanted to make sure I was safe.
Yes.
So she knew if a podcast came out and my voice was on it, I was alive.
You had been alive in the last 24 hours.
Correct. Yeah. So just shout out to Sue Lane.
Yes.
She's probably, I think she still subscribes.
Yes.
I'll take it. We'll take that. We'll take that download.
But I know that a lot of people had a lot of questions for us. And while we were on the road, we didn't have the technical ability to play them out. So now is the chance for you to ask us any burning questions that you had about our trip. So without any further ado, first caller, yours, please.
Reason number 422, well, this is the top-rated sports podcast, 2 years running, I think.
It is.
Is this a sports podcast, or do you guys just claptrap for 35 minutes and then do a quick recap on the cricket from the other side of the world? Anyway, love yous. You already know it.
It's a good point. And you know what? It's exactly what we do, because to qualify for the sports category, you need a minimum of 10% sports content.
Oh, is that what it is?
And that's what we do. So we could almost enter it into, we wouldn't win any other category. This is the problem.
Yeah.
So we could put it into what other categories have fuck all entries?
I don't know. I feel like there's the market's saturated.
I think there's one around like a kind of a...
health and wellness.
No, there's one around kind of a Southeast Asian kind of Indian. There's an Indian. We maybe need to do that.
Oh, well, if we just talk about cricket, we're about to play India.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So that's 10%.
Yeah, okay. We can only enter a couple of potties, though.
I did think that about, I think the first podcast that we did, because none of us watched any sport. We didn't see anything.
No.
We did watch the All Blacks game at breakfast in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
And so then we do this podcast talking about rolling and dog shit and all this stuff, and then just 5 minutes of earnest rugby analysis, and then back into
Dog shit
chat. And that's how it should be, I think.
And you know what? I mean, I don't want to dwell on the dog shit thing because I've been over it. But
No, please.
My first morning back at my house having breakfast, and my oldest son thought he was pretty funny. He's like, "Phew, smells like dog shit in here."
Is that the shirt? No.
And he goes, "This is not the shit." He goes, and I looked at him and went, "You know about the dog shit, don't you?" He goes, damn it." He goes, "I was trying to get it out of you."
Soon we were on our road trip to Oman, and my mate sitting in the driver's seat, and he just goes, "So what happened with the dog shit?" I was like, "How long have you got?" And he goes, "We have 3 hours until we get to Muscat." I was like, "All right."
Like I said, I've never heard you laugh like that before. It was a high-pitched.
Oh, my God.
It was a high-pitched kind of wheeze, squeal.
I have never laughed that hard in my life, I don't think. That was honestly the funniest. I was laughing so hard that I was getting paranoid I was going to suffocate.
I just passed out.
Yeah. We may or may not have taken part in the old psychedelic truffles before we went out there, allegedly, and reportedly. And it was... There's allegedly a menu there, and it allegedly tells you what they do, like whether you see trippy visuals or you laugh real hard. We got the laugh real hard ones, and that just about undid me. It was that, and then it was when I locked eyes with a kid licking an ice cream who was watching you wring dog shit out of your shirt into the town fountain. And my cheese slid off my cracker. I was like, I think I'm gonna die. I think I'm gonna laugh so hard I'm gonna die. If I survived that, I could survive just about anything. It was that, and then when Joe Jury had to shout me a dump at the train station. I still owe him a dump. I tried 3 different credit cards, it wouldn't open. I was like, "Can you shout me a dump?" And then he swiped
That's
it.
what friends do. Friends shout other friends a dump.
50 euro cents, which I think is like $1.
Yeah.
So I owe Joe Jury $1 or a dump. But anyway, yeah, I can't even remember what the fucking question was. Another one here. Yours, please.
G'day. Not gonna lie, a little bit sad. You guys didn't say goodbye or anything. Jumped in my ute, checked my iHeartradio, and there's no podcast.
Sorry.
There's no daily agenda. Come on, you didn't even say goodbye. Surely some live updates from Munich. Surely some live trouble from Amsterdam. Surely. Come on, love you.
Yeah, well, you got all that, didn't you? We couldn't do it every day because we actually were in the air for about 50 hours.
Oh,
so
my
that's
God.
2 days. So we put what did we put 3 out, 3 or 4 podcasts out. So yeah,
we put 3 out.
I hope you got your fix of trouble and stories.
It was all on the social media as well.
Yeah.
I think we did a good job of explaining. I don't think we left much on the cutting room floor there.
No.
I think she was fairly open and honest. I'm still struggling with the Oktoberfest flu.
Yeah, I'm a week out still, and I'm struggling.
Yeah, I tried to put it off through Oman, but I just couldn't. Just piled up on the Sudafed room. But yeah, sorry, I don't know if we gave a good sign off on the Friday before we left. I don't think we explained to people what was going to happen. To be honest, I don't think we knew what was going to happen.
No,
You're
I
right.
know.
You're right though. There was a day when we were basically in transit from Amsterdam to Germany, and then there was the Oktoberfest days, which were a blur. So there was no chance. So apologies, but hopefully you got your fix over those last few days. Another caller here. Yours, please.
Yeah, can we just get some confirmation around Jeremy Wales' position in the plane? Is he flying business class or is he back with the peasants for once in his life? If he is business class, did he pay to bump up his own ticket to sit up there? I don't imagine he would be very comfortable back in cattle class. Fuck South Canterbury.
Good to throw that in there. No, he was back with us.
Yeah.
Like we were in premium economy. So
First leg we were,
yeah. And then the second leg we were economy from Dubai, Amsterdam.
Yes, but he did pay to move from his seat to the seat across the aisle from him, which was the one...
So did I, actually.
As did you, which was the one that basically had the wall in front of it.
The bulkhead.
The bulkhead, so you got a bit of extra leg room there. I think it was about $120, was it?
Yeah, it was well worth it. I must admit, because going from premium's great, but you still don't get to lie down. You're still sitting up.
The only difference I found in premium economy, I think this, I don't know if the seat's much bigger, but it's got a little leg rest thing that kicks up. That changes the game. And then you guys moved over to the bulkhead, which meant me and Joe Jury were able to swap around, and we both had a spare seat beside us. Now, did Jeremy get into heated negotiations with every chicken lady?
Yes.
Yes. Are there any seats in business? Are there any seats in premium economy? What would it cost me? Can I change it? Blah,
The
blah,
answer
blah.
was no every time because they were all full.
Yeah, I know. It was actually quite good to see, and you could see him being like, okay.
But at that stage, on the flight home, he was ready to pay, I reckon, upwards of $40,000 to get anything more, get business. He even asked about first class, and they said, you sure that's full as well, but it is $25,000.
Jesus Christ. That's a lot of money.
I know. I don't think he would have prepared that, but it was full anyway. But he was in such a state, and he was so shallow and lost that would have been. I think he probably would have parted with that.
Well, he was the pace setter for the trip.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's no argument with that.
Yeah. He was the, in the trots, the guy driving the ute with the wings. That was him. We were just chasing him.
I was falling off the pace towards the end there. I broke at one point. But the lay down bed though would change the game.
Absolutely.
It would be nothing to fly for 17 hours if you had a bed and a TV.
That's why you pay so much for that.
That's why they charge you so much.
Yeah.
But yes, you'll be happy to know that he did try and upgrade himself at every available opportunity and was declined. Another caller here. Yours, please.
Is Jeremy Wales the only one of you fuckers who's got a brain cell? Of course there's no fucking current in a canal. They're towed by horses. Path along the sides are towpath because it's where the horses used to walk.
Ah, yeah.
Anyway, hope you're enjoying the trip.
There you go, towpaths.
I knew this when we were doing that podcast. We were like, someone's going to be screaming at their fucking device.
Yeah.
Like they know how.
And there was that guy there.
There is a current in a lot of canals though.
Well, in the big canal there is.
Yes.
The main canal.
Yeah.
Like the Grand Canal in Amsterdam, there's 100% a current. But I think those other little ones, there must be flowing some way.
Yeah. But the other thing we figured, and I actually think I said that on that podcast, so I tried to explain about how the ropes sometimes carve a hole into the thing beside. What we figured out as soon as we stopped recording that podcast, we were like, punting.
Yeah, they punt quite a lot.
They punt quite a lot.
Before the horses. But he's right. That's why they have the cart path. That's why there's the paths next to the canals, because the horses would pull the barges.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
Makes a lot of sense. But yeah, not a lot of wind, not a lot of current. Another caller here. Yours, please.
Hey guys, loving the Amsterdam chat. Little game to play while you're over there. When you spot some bloke in the corner of your eye and you go, is he gay or is he just European? Because that's a bit of fun. Anyway, loving it. Hooroo.
Okay.
South Island.
Yeah, it's
That's what I would say to that. I reckon that man is from the South Island.
No, we didn't play that game, but next time.
Great thing about Amsterdam, Europe on the whole, but Amsterdam, their whole thing, and I think the Dutch, is all about tolerance. I was listening to a boring ass history podcast on the way home about how Amsterdam started.
Is that why they tolerated the Nazis so well?
Perhaps, but that's why. Because you know how the rules are like. Technically, it is illegal to smoke weed. I actually don't know what the laws are around prostitution, but all that stuff is like in this legal grey area.
Right.
And it's that it is technically illegal, they just don't prosecute it.
Yeah.
They don't care. They'll let you do whatever you want.
Just don't be a dick.
As long as you're not annoying anyone, then they'll just let you do whatever you want to do. That's why Amsterdam is the way it is. But I will agree with you. If you took a European from anywhere in Europe and just plonked them into central Hornby, people would be like, what's up with this guy over here?
What's up with this fruit?
Why has he got the round glasses and the pink
linen
shirt
pants
and linen pants and that kind of thing?
Why is he smoking a little thin cigarette and drinking a rosé?
Yeah, exactly. But it is good to be over there. I mean, God knows what they were thinking of me. At a certain point, I got sick of walking through the streets of Europe because I'm in bloody jandals and Birkenstocks and shit. People are pointing and laughing at my feet.
Yeah, I thought about that because that's where the socks and Birkenstocks, that's where it's come from.
Yeah.
You don't put your bare toe-jammed feet into a pair of Birkenstocks.
And in the Middle East, it's very uncouth to have your knees out as a man or particularly a woman, but as a man as well. I got into a lift and these two women, I could see out of the reflection in the lift that they were looking at my legs.
Well, do you reckon that turned them on?
No, because they were laughing at me. And so they were sort of whispering to each other. And as they realised that I wasn't reacting to what they were saying, they were like, oh, he doesn't speak Arabic. Okay, sweet. And then they started talking really loud, started laughing. And out of the corner of my eye, I could see they were looking at my legs. So like, look at this guy. Also had the headscarf on, so it was like very confusing for them. He's Arabic, but his toes are out, which is haram. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, big cultural differences, and that's why you travel. All right, let's take one more quick break. I think we'll come back and dust the rest of these off. All right, back into it. Another caller here. Yours, please.
G'day. Guten Tag.
Guten Tag.
That carousel carry on with the people with darker skin colour in the middle of the ring being lassoed and hogtied and shit. If that happened in rural New Zealand, fuck, there'd be some carry on the News Talk ZB afternoons with Matt Heath. It's just not on. It's not on at all.
Yeah, fuck. That was. But you know, they don't care.
Wow.
They didn't seem to care, did they?
It was a very, very weird situation. If you haven't listened to that podcast, go back and listen to it. But I just explained that whole thing to my mum last night on the phone.
How'd that go?
She was like, what the fuck did you watch? I was like, yeah, I don't know. Some sort of international hate crime. I dare say they're probably not too stoked about it themselves there either, but I just thought it was one of the wildest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, go back and listen to that pod.
Yeah.
It's you can see videos of that. If you
Yes,
follow
you
any Oktoberfest footage, it's this big spinning wheel that you climb on, and the last person to get thrown off wins.
Yeah.
And they've got distractions and ropes and balls swinging and the crowd's chanting, and it gets faster and faster.
Yeah. That was full noise. I suppose it's a different time over there. But I was thinking that we are very precious about certain things here in this country. Like, for example, the dish dash that I was wearing yesterday. I had to buy that to be allowed into the mosque. They wouldn't let me in without it. And that's not like a ceremonial dress. I mean, it is. But they also wear that casually. That's just what they wear around. It's not like
their jeans.
Yeah, it's their jeans. It's not like a kilt. It's not like a lederhosen.
Do you know why they wear it casually? And I was always jealous when I was living there that I was in suit pants and they were all in those, because they wear a slip underneath it and nothing else.
Yeah.
And so when it's hot, it is the coolest thing to wear because it's white, reflects the heat, and you get the breeze up the jacksie.
Yeah.
And here's us Europeans in undies, suit pants, just swamp-assing around
Singlet.
Middle East. Yeah.
Shirt.
It's so
Cotton shirt.
Yeah.
It's stupid. It is the most... You will notice that any people from hot countries, they all wear dresses. It's a lava. It's the dish dash, the kandora. In India, they wear the same shit. Anyone from a really hot country, they always wear
Pakistan have
a
the
dress.
big...
Yeah, exactly. But I do know that people, when I wear it back here, will accuse me of a hate crime for wearing it. Now, the difference might be that I'm probably going to wear it on the piss.
Yeah, we're a bit touchy here. We're very touchy.
Yeah, we sort of jumped the shark in some ways. It's good in a lot of ways, but then, you've raised a good point. It would have been, that behaviour definitely would have been shut down. That's why this is why it's good to travel, go and see it somewhere else and realise why we do and don't do certain things the way we do them over here. One more caller here. Yours, please.
Hey boys, Captain Arsgrave here. I'm just after some advice. Me and the boys are off on a fishing and golf trip to Kaikoura this weekend. We're leaving late Friday night, and I'm just concerned about first night fever. I know you guys suffer quite hard from it. Any tips to try and avoiding going so hard so we don't ruin our golf and fishing on Saturday? Thanks, babes. Bless.
I have no advice because I'm yet to shake the first night fever.
No.
It's something that has to be done.
Yeah.
And there's no two ways about it.
Well, this is the thing about first night fever is you can't plan for it.
No.
And there's no amount of saying, oh, well, we're going to blah, 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 blah. Because once you get there, I presume you're going on this trip with people that you probably haven't seen for a while. Might be a couple of weeks, might be a couple of months, might be a couple of years. You will not be able to stop the first night fever.
Nah. And just also don't resist it.
No.
Don't resist it.
Quite often I think one of the, nature finds its way to sort of even certain things out. And I think that one of the things about first night fever, it ensures that the next night you can't go as hard.
Yeah.
So it actually can kind of tame down, the day that you're having the main activity.
Also, the day you're returning home to your loved ones.
You will want to return home.
Yeah. And you'll want to be held.
Yes.
And you're not in you're in a state, but you're not in a complete state.
Yes, because you did that on the first night.
Correct.
Unfortunately for us, our first night fever in Amsterdam was immense. We outlasted the bars in Amsterdam in the red light district.
That was unheard of. We caught a minicab home, and good to know that minicabs throughout the world are the same and rip you off.
Yeah.
And you spend 10 minutes negotiating with some fuck ass.
He didn't want to go
to travel like 2 kilometres.
Yeah.
we walked around and we couldn't find a bar open in the red light district of Amsterdam.
No, we found one and it was heaving. I think I described this on the podcast, but went in there. I needed to go to the toilet, so I went downstairs. There was a guy guarding the door. There was a woman with her cans out counting tokens, which now, upon reflection, may have been euros. I didn't recognise them as money, but
Just tokens.
But I actually think they were. But
You thought she was counting Monopoly money?
I did,
From
yeah.
a great win?
But I was like, oh, they're actually just euros. Euros are funny colours. And the guy was just like, what do you want? And I was like, what do you mean what do I want? It's the toilet. I want to go to the toilet. And he goes, oh, yeah, it's €1 to go to the toilet. I said, I don't have any cash. He's like, yeah, go up and get some cash and come back. But his whole demeanour was, this isn't a toilet. Like, that's not what we're doing down here, you
get
idiot.
the fuck out of here.
You know what I mean? It's like, yeah. It's like when you were at high school and kids were drinking around the corner. And they're like, what do you want? I don't know. Just wanted to know what you guys are up to. And it's like, yeah, we're doing something illegal around the corner here, so you can't come in here. So first night fever, it will grip you. My suggestion would be go with it. Don't fight against it. Mm-hmm. Acknowledge that it's going to happen, because some of the worst blowouts are when you think that you're not going to have a blowout.
Yeah.
So you need to acknowledge that you will, acknowledge that you're going to have the first night fever, make preparations, get yourself a Powerade.
Yeah, it's awareness.
Get some Panadols, have a plan for how you're going to get from wherever you're going to back to where you're staying.
I mean, look, if you've got golf the next morning, get your golf bag ready, get your kit ready, lay it out.
Sleep in your kit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Go out in your golf kit.
Go out in your golf kit.
Yeah. Sleep at the club.
Yeah.
Sleep at the golf course.
Yeah.
Wake up on the first tee.
These guys are going fishing. Get into your fishing gears the night before.
Yeah.
In fact, that'd be a great way for you guys to all catch up. Get into your fishing gears on the Friday night, which is tonight, and just lean into it. Go for it. It's going to happen, because that's the thing. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
You can pretend it's not. You can rally against it. All that's going to mean is you're not prepared when it does happen. So it's not. It's like an earthquake drill. It's not if, but when and how strong. So make sure that you get your earthquake pack, prepared.
So stop, drop, get under a table and hold the legs.
Brilliant. All right. Hopefully that's answered all of your questions. I think if you've got any more, fire them through. Just make sure you address it at the top of the podcast. Hey, this is about the Europe trip, the beer garden tour of Munich. Otherwise, we will see you later on for the sports book with Carl from the TAB, and enjoy your weekend of sport. We'll see you on Monday. Hooray.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda podcast, brought to you by Export Ultra. For more episodes, like and follow on iHeartradio or wherever you get your podcasts.